Hi, and welcome to Untethered with Jen Liss, the podcast that's here to help you free yourself from the crap that's holding you back so you can claim the life you're meant to live. I'm your host, Jen, and in this episode, we're going to talk about how to say yes to your growth journey despite what other people might think. Let's go. Hi there, friend. It's Jen. What do you think of the new podcast art? Did you check it out? Did you notice? Woo, we got new art. It makes me so excited. Thank you so much to the beautiful Rachel on my team who supported me with updating it. It was time. It was time. Talk about saying yes to your growth journey. She is helping me so much in so many ways, and she's such a beautiful human. So everyone give a beautiful shout out. And to Philip, who took my photos back in January. And it's just been so much fun to up-level some of these things and to continue along this podcast growth journey. And thanks for being part of it. So today's episode is a Thursday thread. It's a Thursday thread. We are threading out a little piece from the interview on Tuesday with Takti. It's totally cool. If you didn't listen to that episode, you're going to get something out of this episode, no matter what, I guarantee you. One of the things that I love so many things about Takti's. First of all, we have become friends and she's just such a cool human. I highly recommend going and following her on social, following her journey. She's doing amazing things in the world. I mean, feeding hundreds of families a week. It's just so cool what her foundation is doing. But she created this foundation. It's a 501(c)(3), and she is helping to feed families thousands of miles away from her. She's also helping women to become self-sustaining with a business to create clothing. So that's a whole separate business that she has. And she started out on this journey having no idea that this is where she would go. She has simply been following the nudges of her own growth journey and just being open to what comes along the way. And this is something that I think we can all take a little note from what Takti's is doing and allow ourselves to do a little bit more. So often we want to control the trajectory. And it truly is in allowing ourselves to dream big, to know what we want, to have an intention for what our growth journey could be leading us to know we need to know that. And then we detach. We detach from the outcome and allow it to unfold in the way that it does. And she is a master at this. And I myself have been learning over time more and more what it really means to be detached. If this is the first time you're hearing this concept, totally cool. Take it easy, because I didn't fully understand it when I first heard it either. This idea of basically bless and release, let go and let love, know what you want, and then allow it to come through. And then when something does come through, we can either say yes or we can say no. We can choose to stay or we can choose to grow. We can choose to allow this to continue to unfold, or we can grasp on to control of it and say, nope, I'm going to stay exactly where I am. We have choice. We totally do. And sometimes maybe the right decision does feel like staying. Oftentimes, the best decision could be for us to allow our journey to continue to unfold. But growing is scary. Growing is so scary. I was just talking the other day with actually Rachel, who was helping support my art for the podcast cover. And she said, it's like repotting a plant. Like sometimes you've got to pull yourself out of that pot and go into a new pot. And that can be scary. All of a sudden, there's so much space. Oh, you might need a little bit more soil and you don't even know what to do with your roots. They've been all tightened up for quite some time. But allowing ourselves to be repotted, allowing ourselves that room for growth and that room for expansion and saying yes to that, even without knowing where those roots are going to grow, even without really understanding the spaciousness of the new pot that you were moving into, we do it anyway because it feels really good. to grow. But even as we're doing it, it can feel weird because that new pot doesn't feel like the pot that we've had before. And so, Taktis, she's running this foundation. She has 2 foundations, in fact, and a business. She's like, I started out thinking that I was going to do coaching, and this is where it has led me. And she has simply said yes. And a similar thing happened with me. And actually, it was Taktis who truly has shifted a huge thing in me and helping me to see the new pot that I'm already in. I did breath work with her months ago, and she looked at me afterward and she said, Jen, you are a healer. And when I heard her say those words, I was like, absolutely not. That is not the pot that I am in. What are you talking about? No. What is this word? No one has used this word with me, that I am a healer. And then I began to think about what my friends and family would think about hearing that. I mean, I could feel my face just actively flushing in the moment of her saying these words. You are a healer. And over the months that have progressed, over months and months, I've heard this dozens of times now. You are a healer. And as I have grown into it and experimented a little bit and felt into the edges of what that phrase feels like, what that identity feels like, what does it mean to me to potentially live in that space, I've begun to become more comfortable with it. And this is the truth for all of us on our growth journey. But at first, it's not going to feel right. It's just not. Now I've heard stories of healing, experienced people's shifts. I've heard some wild stories, some wild stories of people who've experienced breath work with me, releasing things that were stuck in their bodies, memories that were stuck in their bodies. And there's no denying it now at this point. But when she first said it, I couldn't quite own it. In fact, I was feeling even shame over possibly owning that phrase for myself and embracing this new me that has this new gift. Now, here is something so fascinating. About 330 billion cells are replaced daily in your body. That is equivalent to about 1% of all of your cells. 330 billion cells every single day in your body are replaced. In 80 to 100 days, 30 trillion cells in your body will have been replenished, rejuvenated, completely new. That is the equivalent of a new you. Every 80 to 100 days, you are a completely different person than you were before. The only thing about you that is exactly the same are some of those old memories that you were holding on to, some of those old identities that you were holding on to, the identities that other people have thoughts in their head of who you are. You legitimately are not the same person that you used to be 80 or 100 days ago. Even yesterday, 330 billion of those cells are completely replaced. And yet we hang on to this former version of ourselves because we painted a picture in our minds. We know that others have painted pictures in their minds of who we are. And so then we feel this rub, we feel this resistance, we feel this fear over stepping into this next version of ourselves, repotting, or I always love to talk about it like hermit crabs. Freaking scary for that hermit crab to leave its shell that it has outgrown, right? So scary for it to float out into the ocean and go find a new shell. But in order for it to grow, in order for it to be happy, in order for it to feel freedom, it has to leave the shell and go find itself a new shell. And then it offers new shells to that old shell that it had, a new hermit crab can come and find. And it's just a beautiful journey. But the same is true for us on our own journey. We can say yes to the growth, but we're going to feel some rub with those old identities. We're going to feel rub with the new identity. It's not going to feel like us. And yet you are always changing. You are always shifting. Your actual cells are rejuvenating. You are a new person today with new skills, talents, abilities, experiences in every moment by moment, breath by breath. all day long, you are becoming a new human being. It's simply those old identities and thoughts, the memory that we have painted and others have painted of us. It keeps us tethered. It keeps us stuck. We have to be brave if we want to grow. We can even feel shame. We can feel weird. We worry about what other people are going to think. It's safer to stay here in my comfort zone than to face the unknown, right? You know, we all know. It's safer. It feels safer to keep being this person who doesn't feel like me anymore. I'm going to say that again. It feels safer to keep being this person who doesn't feel like me anymore than to face people wondering what's actually going on with me right now and the person who I am becoming and the changes that I am experiencing. Another huge shift. I just have to shout out Takti's like wild, because she said something to me at a retreat that she hosted in LA back in October. She said, she wasn't just speaking specifically to me, she was speaking to the group, but she said, you don't have to be a mother to be a mother. And I cracked open, sobbing, actually cracked open. Something shifted inside of me, that there was this something that I was hanging on to and feeling shame and feeling resistance about, because I've chosen not to have children. My husband and I have chosen not to have children. We're from the Midwest, and that is a decision that we have made. And that's not that normal. It's becoming more normal and more out in the open for people to simply choose not to. But growing up, that was not the expectation. The expectation in a Catholic family is that you are going to have kids. Of course you are. And so I always felt like something was wrong with me and that I wasn't a complete human without it, because I didn't want this thing. And I chose not to have this thing that other people say is basically what makes you a complete human. Let's be honest. That's the thought with a lot of people. And when she said, you don't have to be a mother to be a mother, I realized that that's the gifts that I offer the world, are mothering other people. I am a mother. We are all a mother. We all have the divine feminine inside of us. We all have the masculine and the feminine. We are all mothers. And we are all here to mother ourselves, first of all, mothering ourselves, and to mother the world, to mother others, to share, and to grow. And what is being mother if not growing and helping others to grow along the way? I'm sure any of you who are physical moms, like, no, that is a growth journey. That's got to be a growth journey. I haven't been on it, but I mean, come on. How do you not grow while you're growing another human? So this experience with her rocked my world, because what Takti's did for me, she said, you're a mother. She said, you're a healer. And she just sees straight to love. Like, she just cuts through the crap. She's one of those people who does not see the old identity that we were. She sees what is here right in front of us. And imagine if we could be so present with that thing that is right in front of us in every single human being. If we could approach them as a new person that they are, 330 billion new cells today. Damn, look at those, girl. Look what you're wearing. Look at those new cells. Look at that new identity. What's new with you? What's here with you? What's with you today? Today, not yesterday, not expecting. Expectation is like fucking like tethers. Joey, you can cut that F-bomb out if you want to. Expectation, what a tether. That is a tether. That is like the tether of all tethers. Our expectations of ourselves, our expectations of others, what we're expecting others to expect of us. Oof. And by being present with who we are today, by seeing each other for what we are, but by offering the gift of noticing and seeing the possibility for other people, seeing the possibilities for ourselves, changes everything. So embrace this new version of yourself. Embrace these new beautiful selves, these new experiences and talents and skills that you have today, because they are what you're going to feel the best serving the world in some way, is as this new version that you are, expanding those roots into that new soil, into that new pot, getting new soil in there, really growing, soaking up more water, soaking up more energy, growing those leaves a little bigger, becoming that big, awesome tree. There are these awesome trees here in Portland. And I just look at them and I'm like, dang, this tree did not worry about taking up space. It's taking up all the space. We could all be a little bit more like those trees, letting our roots just grow and expand. But we hold ourselves small. We hold ourselves small in expectations and identities when those identities aren't even you anymore. You're a new person. You're a new person today. So say yes to your growth. Say yes to your growth today, because truly what other people think is simply a reflection of the past. All of our thoughts are the past. They're the past. They are thoughts that are repeating in our head from something that already happened. So say yes to the now. Say yes to what could be. Say yes to the possibilities, and you will naturally grow along the way. And invite other people into your life, like Taktis is for me, who can see you for who you could be and for who you are today. Because those are the kinds of people who are really going to help you to thrive. Now, as with every Thursday thread moving forward, I would love to invite you into a moment of breath work, into a little somatic exercise that is going to help you become this new version of yourself, to settle into this person who you are today. So whenever you're ready, take 2 deep breaths into the nose, out through your mouth, into the nose, out through your mouth. Embracing this version of yourself that exists in the here and the now today. Allowing yourself with your awareness to feel into your energy. Can you feel with that awareness into every muscle, every fiber, every cell of your body, witnessing that which is right here with you today. Continuing to breathe into your nose and out through the mouth for the next few moments, breathing into that sensation of what is present here with you now in this moment. Without judgment, simply witnessing what is here. Placing a hand on your heart and thanking yourself for being present for a couple of moments. Taking one last deep inhale into your belly, through the nose and out through the mouth. I hope you have a beautiful day. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. It means the world to me that you would listen to this podcast, Untethered with Jenless. If you enjoyed something about this episode, if something struck true for you, I encourage you to take a little screenshot, share it on social media, or share it with a friend who could use it. You can always tag me on social media. I'm untethered Jen on Instagram. I will always reshare your posts if you tag me. Thank you again so much for listening. You just keep shining your magical unicorn light out there for all to see. I'll see you next time.